Welcome to Veterans Corner, and we're here today talking with Mr. Bill Boyd. He is a real estate broker here in the Houma area to share information with us today um, about veterans getting homes, and in doing so, how easy it is for veterans to get homes. But before that happens, welcome on board, my friend.
Well, thank you,
Okay.
Greg. It's a pleasure to be here with you,
Yeah.
especially when we talk about something that's very dear to me, and that's our veterans.
Yes, it is. So, as far as the veteran is concerned, how easy it is for a veteran to get home now?
Actually, the first thing that I ask people when I'm working with them and they're looking for a home and they're trying to set up something for their family, I ask them, by any chance, are you or your spouse or significant other a veteran? And so I'll find that out first. And when I do find that out, then I let them know right away that you should go with a VA loan. There's a lot of choices out there, but the VA loan is the best one that you can get because you will get the lowest interest rate available in the marketplace if you're a veteran
Okay.
right now. People need to know that. And that it surprises me that it surprises so many people.
Well, it surprised me when I told me this.
So that is the best way to go. Another thing that's easy is the lender who they will be working with. And I would say that they need to check the marketplace and see what lender they feel comfortable with and who they want to work with. Once they choose that lender, they will find out that the lender will be able to offer them a loan at less rate for all the administrative costs up front than any other type loan because they're a veteran and they need to take advantage of that.
Well, that is significantly better than in the past because we've talked in the past and show how difficult it was for veterans to get homes.
Exactly.
So now
Exactly.
VA seems like they're starting to change and make things better for veterans. And if this program that you just mentioned is on the books, all I can say is, guys, take advantage of it.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, the veterans can start at someone who credit is at 5.58.
Okay.
5.8 is very low. However, for someone who has a 7% credit, they can get a cheaper or the least interest rate there is available out there for anybody, and it's 7.75.
Okay.
And I spoke to a lender this morning whom I have conversations with almost every other day basis.
Okay.
And he was telling me that just this morning he was able to quote a veteran who had a 7% credit score, and he was able to quote him a 7.5% interest rate. And pretty good. But right now, veteran, with all the other things, elements that fall in place right now, veteran, I said 7.5. I correct myself. 6.5.
6.5. Okay.
6.5. I correct myself. But if all the other things fall in place, and that is that they haven't had problems with maybe foreclosure or bankruptcy or anything like that, then they could get a 6% loan. Okay.
Okay.
And so that's available. And then I've also seen some that depends on the marketplace. You know, the stock market is down right now. That's always a good sign for interest rates may be following suit.
Okay.
We need to keep an eye on that right now. But there have been some VA buyers who have been able to get a 5.8% interest on their home. And so those are out there, and I think they're imminent that it's going to happen, that we're going to be able to have better interest rates in the immediate. I really do feel nobody has a crystal ball. We don't know what's going to happen with the government right now in that situation. But the good thing about it is that VA loans are guaranteed loans. So therefore, nothing is shut down with them. If you're a veteran, you want to buy a home, you want to go VA right now, you will have no interruptions whatsoever in getting your loan processed and getting it to the closing table. FHA, not quite as easy because with the government shutdown, those loans are insured. Those FHA loans are insured loans. VA loans are always guaranteed loans. Okay. And of course,
Okay.
you have the other market. You have conventional and you have rural development loans as well, and those are different as well. But the VA is the best loan that you can get right, and that's what I love about VA, and that's what I love about working with veterans
Mhm.
who want to go VA. But what's your first steps when you go in and you apply for the loan? Well, if you're as a veteran, you go in and they're going to ask you for your certificate of eligibility. And if you don't have that, they're going to ask, do you have your DD 214?
Yes, I know about that.
You know about that?
Yes, I know about all that.
And of course, they'll get the standard
Yes.
information, your driver's license or state issued ID. And they'll ask you also for income documentation or pay stubs. And you don't have to prove that you've had a job for even 1 year.
You
You,
don't?
you could be on the job for 6 months,
Oh, that's
for six
completely
months,
different. Yeah.
and still get qualified for a home loan.
But does it also qualify that a veteran have to have a certain uh, credit score though?
That's
If
right.
if it's below,
That's
say,
exactly right.
620, possibility they won't
Yeah,
get a home.
you're right on point. 5.8 is as low as they can look at a credit score, 5.8. So that is the bottom rung right there. But that's glad you pointed that out. You'll need W-2s. They'll ask you for any W-2s that you might have. You will also, they'll ask you for any VA benefit awards letter that you might have from the military service as an injured veteran.
So any type of compensation proving that you have legitimate income coming in.
You have some income coming in,
Because
plus,
they may not have a job.
right,
Because right now there, if you're disabled, if you're 100% disabled, you get $1,000 a month.
exactly.
And for
Exactly.
me, like I'm at 70%, and I'm working towards 100. But for me, I'm getting like $1,800 because of 70%.
Right.
But there's still a lot of, questions that have to be asked and answered, and we have a lot of answers. So that's why we're doing this.
Right. Exactly. Well, now if you're a person, for instance, I'll give you an example. After you present your certificate of eligibility or your DD 214, and it can be attained by a lender for you if you're a veteran who doesn't have one right then in your hands, they can pull that up within 2 hours. The
Really?
longest it's going to take right now is within 2 hours.
I know in the past it was difficult even for veterans to get the
To get
214.
that. And now it's very simple. Very simple. If you hit a lender that can't produce it, then you might need to seek out another lender.
Tell you what, just recently, because of veterans in the process, there were about 90,000 veterans going in foreclosure, and the VA last year put a program together to help veterans out of foreclosure. So many veterans went and applied, got into the program. This year, they terminated. And then not too much afterward, not too long afterward, just signed a law. I think Trump just signed a law where they go back and help these veterans who are in foreclosure. But I have a problem with that because in the law it says permanently temporary. What is permanently temporary? So I'm saying a lot of changes have come about because of instances that happen to veterans. And I think everything started to happen really when 40 veterans back in Phoenix, Arizona that died was waiting just for an appointment.
Yeah.
And ever since that happened, VA, or rather the public has got involved, VA have started changing. But what you're telling me right now, a lot has changed.
Well, it has changed. You're
But-
right. You're
but-
right on
but-
target.
But the VA though is still like molasses. It's still slow,
Oh, yeah. Well,
you know.
Yeah.
But things are happening and things are changing, and it's all for the better. You telling me, all right, sharing it with us about information that the veterans have access to now, which is good because of the changes.
it is good.
Yeah.
It is good. And you brought it up. I got it in my notes that because of what happened to those veterans that couldn't get care of, there has been a lot of changes and a lot more changes happening to disabled veterans. If you are a disabled veteran, for instance, there is no mortgage insurance. Someone else would need to have mortgage.
Really?
There's no mortgage insurance charged to a veteran
Huh.
who's been disabled. Okay?
That,
So,
right.
that's brand new. If a veteran has received service disability or have received an honorable citation, example, a Purple Heart, then they do not have to pay for the funding fee when you apply for the loan.
That's really changing because uh, everything what you're saying is really new to me. I try to stay abreast, but they got so much information coming out, you never know. Oh, and to be honest with you, surprised that even happened because pulling information out of the VA is like pulling teeth. Difficult. Everybody that I worked with, involved with interviews, same thing. Working with the VA, difficult. But VA is changing, and I think it's just because that public knows about uh, problems that veterans are facing, and you're not in a position to share information with the veterans that I'm not aware of, and a lot of other veterans are. So all I can say, I know you got a lot more information to share. What would be the next step we get involved with? Get involved in the real estate side. Or something, other programs that is available?
No, just as long as you have the documentation like we talked about.
Mhm.
If you are an honored veteran and gotten an award that for some citation of merit, of honorable merit, then you're gonna get a lot of it's upfront
Okay,
when you apply for the loan and
okay.
everything. Okay, and so you want to look out for that. Every veteran is qualified to depends on their income,
Yes.
credit wise, etc. But you're qualified up to $800,000 for a veteran.
$800,000.
Up to $800,000. If you can prove you can take care of the note, then you could go up to $800,000. Actually, it's $802,000 is what the
That is a
and
lot.
that's a lot of money, and so you will be aware of that. VA loans are not currently affected by the government shutdown at all. Remember that. So don't be afraid of
Okay.
that just because you think the government shut down. Um, let's see. Manual underwritten rates are moving forward as of the last week in the areas of 6% at very little buy down cost, with a 1% to 1.5% discount rate. So if you want to pay 1% toward the loan, 1% of whatever you're borrowing,
Mhm.
you can buy your interest rate down. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Buy it down. If you want to put 1.5% down, whatever you're borrowing, of what you're borrowing, you can buy it down. You can get that rate even lower yet. And you can be as low as 5.6% right now.
That's really changed.
Yeah, that is changed. VA does not require a commitment, nor does FHA. Um, you do need to acquire a certificate to close for RD loans only. So you do need to have a certificate from the mortgage company stating that you qualify for the loan,
Mhm.
etc. Don't have to be qualified for your FHA. Those loans, if you pass the,
Right.
they're already set. VA loan is guaranteed. FHA loan is insured. Okay? So just remember that. Um, just some of the VA advantages. There's no mortgage insurance. There's no down payment. And
I
I
know
think
about
that,
the down payment.
and I think that's one of the biggest
Yeah.
things that needs to always be remembered is that there is no down. Anybody else, you're going to have a down payment.
But in the past, most likely, in the past, it has always been maybe not the down payment for home, but it would require you upfront for insurance taxes for the first year. Only amount of money I think you have to do.
Right. Those are prepaid.
At the closing.
Those are called prepaid items, and there's nothing wrong with a veteran asking the seller, a very ambitious seller, to sell their home. They can ask them to pay the paid items. Okay. And if there's any closing cost involved, they can ask for them to pay the closing cost. Nothing wrong for that. And if you do that, what can they say? They, yes, sir.
Yes.
And and then you move on from there. And I would encourage any veteran who finds a home that they really are somewhat attached to. And it looks like their qualifications, their credit scores and all are going to allow them to buy the home. Don't get distracted because in your negotiation process, the seller says, well, I can't pay all of the prepaid items and closing costs. I'll pay half. I'll pay this amount.
Okay.
Whatever. Try to negotiate with them where you can work it out. And your realtor, working with a realtor, can certainly help you with those steps.
But let me ask you one question. What if a veteran wants to get it? They already have a home and they want to refinance it and refurbish their home at a higher amount. If they have 100,000 to redo the home, might take 45, 50,000 dollars. That fall in the same program. Get the loan anyway. Not paying any costs. I'm saying it's already the veteran already have a home. Want to use your equity more. There's some program that will cover that as well. Or would that fall underneath that program?
No, the vet, anyone, by the way, can refinance their, okay, if they qualify. The veteran is no exception, certainly no exception. Veteran can qualify, refinance his home, and get that, make sure that equity is there.
Yes,
That's
yes.
what the lender wants to feel safe with. And an 80-20 equity portion is what they look for. So if you'll keep 20%, home, and you want to borrow, let's say you want to borrow something that's down another 20, then you can borrow up to that amount, percent of the value borrow already have into it. Okay, so you can borrow that.
So really, you're involved with the government already. Are you purchasing a home? That this is a good place to be for
Yes.
veterans. Whether you purchasing a new home and up to 800,000 kind of unheard of for me anyway.
Yeah.
But may be able to even furbish your home, equity and so. But the main thing I'm looking for, working with the veteran to keep them in the home. That's the big problem nowadays, I find. You find that the mortgage company will work with veterans because I know sometimes, well, in today's time, people have their jobs and so forth. Some kind of program that the veteran program that they just put up there with Trump sign, helping the veterans, helping them with the foreclosure part. And then once they do that, veteran is safe. There's some type of process of doing that even.
Well, the process would be there's no reason why any veteran, though they have some financial problems, it happens to people, it happens, human, it happens. If they have those financial problems, never get themselves in a whereby their home would be seized.
Okay.
So, and the way to do that is contact a realtor, talk to your realtor, and get your realtor to give you an evaluation, plausible, put that home on the market, sell it. Okay? Because you don't lose your VA benefits. You sell that home, you're entitled to 100% benefits all over again. Okay? So you can buy another home VA after that. Now, you might want to buy something smaller, maybe notes a little less, but but you can do that. That won't be.
I mean, I did that myself. My first home, paid off, and able to get the second home. But that first home, dealing with VA of those years,
Yeah.
and it was kind of difficult.
Yeah.
Working with them, but I was able to do it. But right now, their veterans need to be aware of the fact that VA wants to help you guys. When I say veteran, that means women too now.
Oh, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
don't think when I say veteran, I'm just pointing men.
Yeah.
But women as well, because they deserve just as much benefits as man does. Both put put our hands up to the flag and pledge allegiance. And once we do that, we really become government property, and they can do with us whatever they will, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm always fighting to do what's right for the personal commitment for me, provide information. Doing this for about 10, 12 years.
No, you have.
And right now they're at a point, our culture is changing, VA is changing, so there's a lot of information out there that you can provide. I'm learning a lot of stuff just talking with you. So in the future, when I start making comments, I'll use I'll use the accurate information. Because when I was talking with another high up executive in the VA, I said, well, the VA, Louisiana had about 360,000 veterans living in Louisiana. He said, no, it's not 360,000 anymore. It's 260,000. What happened? A lot of veterans died. So, man,
I think the last thing we want is a veteran to die while they're
that's right.
waiting. We want to get them into a home, and everybody deserves the right to home ownership. Home
Yes.
ownership. And a veteran certainly is no exception. I'll take a little side note here. I was at a Kiwanis meeting today between 12 and 1. And while I was there, I got up and I asked everybody, I said, "How many of you in here are veterans?" 4 veterans, Kiwanis room. And I said, now for all the rest of you that you have had someone in your family, whether it's your father, your grandfather, uncle, a brother,
Yes.
maybe a son, and I won't forget, maybe a mother, maybe a grandmother. You had somebody in your family that service, and we want to thank you, all of you, for that.
Yes.
So by large and far, we want to thank you for your family's commitment to that. And then I told them about the shirts because I had some of your shirts there with me, and I said, I've got these shirts here that we're offering for sale, and I said all the proceeds for this is going to go into the program Housing for Veterans, and I said so. This is what we have available here, and several of them see me after the meeting, and I'll take care of you. I'll make sure you get a black or white shirt that says "Make Veterans First in America."
That's it.
So, so I did that, and so that's to show that we support veterans, and I think they're supported in a great way here in Louisiana. Can it be better? Yes,
Yes,
it can be better.
yes, it can be better. And the thing about it is, uh, people fail to realize that it's because veterans are the reason why we have a free America today. We can go back to our beginning forefathers broke away from England and started their own country. Come to find out, it's the United States. So, as far as I'm concerned, they were the first veterans to fight for freedom.
Yeah.
And right now, we are still fighting for freedom in a country where we have opportunities nobody's ever expected them. And I'm sorry to say that there's some people in this country destroy what we have. But as far as I'm concerned, I want the veteran to understand that today's times still have a dream. One of the major dreams that veterans have is owning a home. It's like in the sense of accomplishment. Not like, well, I bought a used home, I refurbished myself. It's not like buying a home brand new. That's the sense of pride. You do the pride on the refurbishing side too, but when you get a brand new home, look what I accomplished. And that is something that you can't take away. But
The veterans get very proud when they can qualify.
well, I tell you, I hate to say this, this is going to end this interview. So, my friend, thank you for coming on board,
All right.
sharing.
Thank
Maybe
you.
next time you get involved and do more information.
Well, I do want to share this real quick. It's very important. That's why I want to say this, is that 50% to 69% of veterans who are disabled to that degree, 50% to 69%, they get $100,000 discount on their property in
Oh,
Louisiana.
okay.
Okay. And if a veteran falls in the 70 to 99% disabled range, anywhere in that range, they get 120,000 off of their property taxes in Louisiana.
That's good then.
Okay, now right now, for any person who buys a home, you go get your homestead exemption
Okay.
and you sign up in Louisiana.
Yes.
You're only you're only liable for 75%